Hello and welcome to Ending Well with Minnelle. My name is Minnelle Williams. I'm the pre-planning funeral director at the New Haven Funeral Center, an end-of-life doula, and a certified executor assistant. All those things come together in me being your end-of-life educator. My reason for doing this show and the reason for having this platform is to really normalize the conversation about end of life, hoping that by the more you know, the more comfortable you'll be to act on making those arrangements and planning for your future. So today, I'm very happy to invite Dean to the stage. I'm very excited to have our conversation. Let's begin with an intro. Can you please introduce yourself?
So my name is Dean Martin, and I'm a regular guy.
That's always good. Yes.
Regular guy, right? But I'm very passionate about my community, making sure that they understand the importance of having protection for their family, and just in general understanding financial literacy. Because I believe that the reason why a lot of us sometimes don't make it in life, financially, is because we don't understand the rules to the game of money. If you don't understand the rules, how do you win the game?
Yeah.
Right? And so it's very important for me. I worked for CRA for 27 years, Canada Revenue Agency. And at the end of the day, I just felt like there was a lot missing in my life. There's a lot of other things that I could have been doing, and I wasn't really fulfilled there. And someone introduced a business to me 10 years prior, and that I was looking at it part-time, and I just enjoy it so much. I love it. It's just the education that I'm able to give to people, just to help them to understand the whole financial industry. And I was able to resign from my CRA position, and now this is what I do full-time, just to make sure people, I help my community to be able to understand money, because that's important.
It's very important.
Yes, absolutely.
I love the we resonated with that when we spoke first,
Yes,
right?
correct.
Starting in an industry, seeing a need, saying, I could have helped, this in different situations, and then actually fulfilling the need.
Yes.
And then that makes these interactions, and when you're meeting with families, it's not just, checking things off my list that I'm doing, I'm helping people, and I'm affecting change. And that passion I can feel, and I can see it as well.
Yes.
So let's start with our icebreaker question. If today was your last day on earth, what is one message you'd want to leave with the world?
What I would want to leave with the world? Wow, that's a good question. Well, honestly, the one message I would leave with anyone is just to not have any regrets. Make sure that, you do the things that you wanted to do, the dreams and goals that you aspired. Go after them. Don't just stand back and just live that complacent lifestyle. Go after your goal, go after your dreams, right? And make sure that, you leave something for your family. I think that's important. Leave a legacy, because that is, I believe, is an important thing to make sure generational wealth is carried on in the family. So no regrets. That's what I would say.
Yeah. What else are we here for? So, I like it.
Exactly.
I like it. Okay, so let's get into the conversation. It's free flowing, so we'll just bounce off
Absolutely.
each other
Yeah,
and enjoy. My first question to you is this. Is retirement savings, so the people who are working their 9 to 5s, putting in their time for saving for their retirement with their pension through work, is that still a viable plan, or is it not something we should be looking at anymore?
You know what? I think that your workplace pension is okay, because that's what they're giving to you. That's something that they're giving to you for working there. But I also believe that people should also have their own individual savings plan or investments, right? Because sometimes it's just not going to be enough when you retire. The amount of money that you're earning or that they're going to give you in retirement is not going to be able to sustain you. I mean, we look at the cost of living today. I mean, ouch.
Yes.
Groceries has gone, everything has gone up. And sometimes your income remains the same. And so, you want to make sure that when you retire, you have enough money, because one thing that a lot of people don't understand is inflation eats up a lot of your income. What you purchase with today's dollar may not purchase, 5 years from now. It's not going to be the same. So I think that you should always have something on the side for yourself, just to make sure you have enough down the road, right?
So what's that thing on the side?
I would say you have your own tax-free savings account. You have your own, even RSPs is not a bad thing. It just depends on the individual.
Okay.
You know what I mean? certain things are not always for everybody, but there are like tax-free savings account, there's RSPs account, there's different things that you can invest your money in, right? Even real estate, things like that. So it's just understanding how these things work and then going after them to put your money there, right?
So I'm thinking now, we're talking legacy generations. In this day and age, when we're recording this, people are talking about crypto, we're talking about investments, we're talking about investing in properties. There are so many things. If we don't know what to do, it can get overwhelming.
Yes.
What are some of the basic principles that we should have? And then once we get basics, how do we even go beyond that?
Well, really, just basics is just understanding finance in general. There are little concepts that when I learned this stuff, I was blown away. Like there's one concept called the rule of 72.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know about that. And what is that really? All it means is, the rate of return that you're earning on your investment, if you divide 72 by that number, it'll tell you how long your money takes to approximately double.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know that. So give you an example. If I earn 2% at the bank, 72 divided by 2 is pretty long. That's 36 years. So what I'm saying is if your money is not growing or doubling fast over time, again, how are you going to save for retirement, right? We have also other concepts like investment. There's one called dollar cost averaging. And dollar cost averaging is just, a lot of people are afraid to put their money in the market, right? Because they think they're going to lose. But dollar cost averaging is a concept that allows people to mitigate the losses that may occur in the market, because it helps you on the upside and it also helps you on the downside. So these are little things that I'm able to help people, educate them, help them understand how to, utilize these things to grow and build wealth, right?
Did I miss it? Just in case. Did you go over how do we actually dollar cost average?
Yes, so it's like I put my money in an investment account. And let's say how it works is like this. A lot of people, they'll be like, well, I look at stocks, for instance. Let me give you an example. Stocks is a prime example. If you put money in stocks, right, your ability to lose money is very high. But you can also make. That's speculative. Very speculative. It's very risky, right? But with dollar cost averaging, what we teach people to do is, okay, let's say you want to take $100 a month, $200, whatever it is a month. It's a monthly thing that you're doing. And what ends up happening is, listen, if I put money away monthly and the market goes down, well, the unit price, let's say in a mutual fund or seg fund, also goes down. So what ends up happening is you're buying more money on sale. So again, these are little things that people don't know, that over time, you get to now make more, because when the market goes back up, those extra funds that you purchased when the market was low makes you more money. Okay. So these are little concepts that people are not aware of.
Yes. So we're starting with the basics. We're starting with, okay, whatever money I've got in, I'm putting on towards my savings or towards my investments. I'm learning about the rule of 72 to make sure I'm actually getting money when I'm putting money away. And now if I'm started with the basics here, and I want to make sure that when I pass, the legacy I leave is going to have my children or whoever I'm leaving money to higher than I. What are some things I can put in place so that they get that money afterwards?
That's actually really key, because a lot of people don't understand how estate planning works.
Yes.
That is, you're in the industry, you know that. So we have the saying, because I used to work for CRA.
Yes.
CRA uses a term called deemed disposition. And all that says is, when you pass away, the day before, CRA says pretty much that you've auctioned off or sold off all your assets, right? And so people need to understand how. How do I now protect my assets in the estate? Now, for instance, my investments, my properties, all of these things that go into my estates, they can be frozen. A lot of people don't know that as well. The government could lock your estate. Your bank accounts can be frozen. Now, if you need money, how do you access that money, right? You can't. And so it's understanding, what do I need to have outside of my estate so that I don't fall into that issue, right? And there's things like segregated funds. A lot of people may not have know what a segregated fund is, but it's just like a mutual fund, but it's only offered by an insurance company. You have life insurance, which is, that is the basic. You need life insurance. And a lot of people, unfortunately, I'm going to say in my culture, they don't see the value in that.
Let's just pause for 1 second. Okay? Can you speak directly there to the camera for
All
me?
right.
Can you speak to the young people, right? So the young people who've maybe just started working and they have not thought about life insurance because, in truth, a lot of young people think, I'm not going to die, so I don't need to worry about that now. Can you speak to the young people and explain why it's important?
Yes. So in terms of insurance, it's important in general. Now, the problem is most people think that life insurance is all about death. And that's not true. Because you can have life insurance where you actually build and grow wealth. It is called cash value, the life insurance. You got your whole life that does that, and you have your universal life that does that. The thing I love about, young people insuring themselves early, number one, you're in good health, so you will qualify for the insurance. It's cheaper at your age. The older you get, the more life insurance is going to cost you. And also, what I always tell people is you also run the risk of waiting too long of not being able to be insured. Because what happens if you go to the doctor one day and the doctor says, hey, I see something that is, we have to take a closer look at it. It may be a tumor. It may be something. From that happens, life insurance companies will not take the risk on you. So that is the importance of doing it. My wife's sister just had a baby, and 15 days, we put on life insurance on him. Because at 15 days or later, you can insure them. So that is what we did, because it's so important to do that, right? And then not to get into critical illness, disability insurance. I can get into a whole lot, but just life insurance right now, there's so much more to understand. So young people, I urge you guys, get it now, because it's important.
I think someone was telling me how life insurance is the greatest wealth transfer that many people will experience. And a lot of people miss out on, especially if you have a beneficiary, make sure you list them, just all of your documents, you're checking your documents, making sure that it's saying what you want, that the person you want is actually the one who is listed. Because on our side, if you're not double checking your paperwork and you've gotten divorced, and then your ex-spouse is the one who's receiving the beneficiary funds from the insurance, and you think that this person will do the right thing because they knew what you had wanted. The world is changing, right? So it's important that you cover whatever you can. That way, at least when your family's going through the paperwork, that part's easy for them, right? So there's not fights where we don't need to have them, right? Because the things we see on this side,
money changes people, right?
It does.
And that's the problem. So, yeah.
Okay. So can you speak to me about some things that you've seen in your time at the CRA that we can use and kind of put in our back pockets to help plan our estates and mitigate our taxes now?
Yes. So there is actually a book that I have and that you could actually purchase.
Oh, what a perfect thing to mention.
It's called The 10 Things That CRA Don't Want You to Know About.
Okay.
And it's funny, I bought the book and I realized that they don't want you to know about cash value life insurance. They don't want you to know about starting your own businesses. There's so much things in the book. And so these are things people have to understand. Listen, we live in a world that it's systematic to keep people at a certain place. You have to take the initiative to go and research and learn things that's going to elevate you, because that's the problem. They're not going to tell you. And why don't they teach financial literacy in school?
I know.
They should, shouldn't they? Basic financial literacy is not taught. Why? Because they don't want you to know certain things. And so in terms of taxes, you have to understand how to mitigate your taxes. I tell people this: you have the right, legal right, as a taxpayer, to pay as little taxes as you want. People don't know that. But most people don't understand how to do that. That is there for you, but how do I do that? What are some of the accounts that I can use to mitigate taxes? And that's where like RSPs, TFSAs come in. That's how having a side hustle, your own business, all of these things that you can now, write off expenses. These are things that it's there for us, but a lot of people don't utilize them. They don't understand it, right? And so it's important to know these rules and, understanding. Sometimes talk to an accountant that can help you to do these things, right, as well. So there's a lot of things that people can do. They just have to understand.
I think a lot of the times we try to do things ourselves.
Yes.
We do
yes.
based on what we know, but without giving any fault, because if I don't know it, then I don't know that there's more I can do.
But you
So
don't know.
now
You
we're
don't know what
exactly,
you don't know, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And now we do, so we know speak to professionals, get the support that you need, because I have the right to not pay tax. No, that's what you said.
To pay as little tax.
As
You have the
little
right
tax
to
as
pay as
possible.
little as legal.
Yes.
If once it's in, it's legal.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, so coming back to generations, when it comes to parents now speaking to their children, what are some important lessons that they can start with? Like we talked about the insurance already, but what can we teach our children when they get their first jobs, how they can, start preparing their finances?
Well, again, as a parent, for you to pass on knowledge to your children, you yourself have to know. You have to understand the industry, how finances work. So for myself, my son, he understands what I do. So he does ask questions, right? But I always make sure, his mom and I always tell him, listen, when you get money, you save, you put it away. You don't have to buy the latest games, the kids and their video games, right? You don't need to do that. You need to be able to understand how to manage your money, because that's the key. The key to really building wealth is how do I manage my expenses. And I always tell people is what the income you earn is here, right? Your expenses should not be close to your income.
Yeah.
It should be as far apart as possible, because the more you have income you have is the more you're going to be able to grow and build, right? So the key is just to teach them the responsibility of understanding money, what the use of money is for. I don't need to go and buy the latest this. I don't need to do, you know what I mean? I need to be able to understand how to manage my money to be able to, have savings and so forth. So to me, that's key.
On the other side now, so we're teaching them, okay, here's how to manage your money. This is how to make use of what you have. But when life does what it does, right? And your children, someone passes, a parent passes, or both, and now they have a windfall of finances that they have to manage. What are some things that children can do right away to protect the new income that they have so they don't use it all or lose it all to taxes?
Well, again, depending on how the windfall gets to them. So for instance, insurance, that's non-taxable. So we know that's not a taxable thing, right? And any other thing they might come into, maybe some investments and so forth. At the end of the day, they just need to understand, okay, again, it comes down to, everything to me comes down to knowledge.
Yes, yeah.
Right? And understanding how things work. And if you as a child, get money, well, if you don't understand it, you need to go to someone that understands, what to do, right? That's looking out for your best interest.
Yes.
Because again, that could be a little bit gray line there, right?
Absolutely.
So it's understanding, okay, what can I do with it? Where can I put it? How can I save it? Where are the places that I can put it? So again, personally, I can grow it as well and keep that money, all right? And keep building on it as well. So it's just making sure that as a child who has money, they understand how to, to manage the money. And that's gonna come through, again, education and having the knowledge to do so, right? Our parents hopefully have spoken to their children. I think it's important as well. As a parent, if you're going to pass on money to your child, have a conversation with them. Let them know, okay, I have this, if something happens to me, this is gonna be yours.
Yes.
So maybe kind of talk to them about, what to do and give them some knowledge and, where they can go to help them to understand it. Keep it.
The talking is key.
Yes.
Because so many times when, you're going through your estate, your parents' estates, you're looking through I call it the briefcase, right? Of all of the jing bang and the papers and everything. And now we're going to call banks.
Yes.
We're trying to find out where is the investment, what is this, where are all these things kept. So organizing them, absolutely key to support them in that. But you're very right.
Yes.
Talking to them prepares them for success or failure.
Absolutely.
Right? So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm just thinking, and we haven't talked about this, but I'm interested to hear, in the community, or if someone has grown up maybe without having finances, and then we start using the lessons, we're reading the books about how to mitigate our taxes. We're using a rule of 72. And now we're starting to accumulate some finances. We're feeling better about our position. Have you spoken at all about the mental aspect of that? Because I know a lot of people struggle with success. They don't see themselves as people who can achieve finances or for whatever that reason is. Or, you get that windfall of money. I don't know what to do with this. I don't feel like a person who should have it, so I just give it away. Have you spoken about that? Well, not necessarily give it away, but like you spend it, right? You're not paying attention to what you're doing. Because have you spoken at all, or do you have any feedback or support for people who are struggling with having wealth?
I mean,
is that another thing?
Yeah, I don't know who struggles having wealth. I mean, at the end of the day, people who come into money, again, I always go back to knowledge because again, you've heard the saying, a lot of people who win the lotto,
exactly,
what happens to them? They're broke in a couple of years. Why? Because if you're not, the Bible says, if you're not faithful in the little things, how can you now be faithful in much? And so it's just starting understanding the small things that you have, managing that and understanding how to manage that will allow you to be able to manage bigger things. And so again, it's the knowledge of knowing how to do. Start small. Okay, if I am able to get $1,000 and I can manage that $1,000. Well, if I get $100,000, I can manage that as well because it's the same idea. There's nothing different. But again, it's just understanding and reading. I think a lot of us don't read, books about finances and understanding all of the money games and rules. If we are able to read and elevate ourselves and build ourselves up, I think that you'll be okay if you get money. You'll understand what to do with it, right? And so that's the key.
I'm going to take that. So right now I love reading books. I'm a book fanatic. Right now, what am I listening to? 50 Cent's book, Hustle Harder. Can you give me three book suggestions?
3 books.
Yes.
All right. Think and Grow Rich.
Absolutely.
That's a really good book, right? There's also one, Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's the one, Robert Kiyosaki.
Yes.
And I have one. It's called. It has to do with the mind, belief. Can't remember the exact name of it, but it just talks about what you believe is what you get, so to speak.
Yes.
And I have tons of books at home that I kind of read, but connecting with this, and one that's how to connect with people as well. There's so many books out there, but read books, man. It's gonna do a lot for you to help you understand.
Absolutely. Part of my morning routine.
Yes.
So I'll just ask and wait for that book name whenever you get it.
Yes.
And I'll put it in the comments.
Yeah, I will. Okay. I'll actually get it for you. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'll get
Thank
it,
you.
because that's a really good one. Yeah.
Okay. So on the other side now, we've accumulated finances, and part of our wealth building plan is to become a philanthropic person. How do we incorporate that? Is it, okay, I want to make sure that I create a foundation and leave money through a foundation. What's the best plan for that?
I mean, it really comes down. I mean, philanthropists really are looking out for people that, they're in need, right? Now, you can't be a philanthropy without having money. It's going to be very hard to do that, right? But there's different, charities, organizations. You can even create your own charity as well. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. So it's just, again, understanding that part of it. I haven't started that yet. It is part of my goal to be, to do that, to help the those who are not fortunate, to help them.
Yes.
Scholarship. I have one of my affirmations I read every morning is to be able to help those who can't go to school.
Yes.
Create a scholarship funds for those. So it's great to be a philanthropist, right? But you just have to understand, how to set it up. But again, most of them do it through charities, right? Most of them may set up their own. But if you're going to give to a charity, you want to make sure that that charity is going to do right by the individuals that you're giving that money to, right? That's the important part of it.
Do your research, please. Yes.
Exactly, right? You have to do your research, but it's good. I believe that people should give back. I believe that service to others, to me, is one of the greatest things that anybody can do, right? I just believe that is key.
Yes.
Serve others. Because one of the things that I teach people is, if you help people get what they want, you in turn will get what you want. It's that simple.
Always. Yeah. I think we always forget in this world where we're very me-focused, we're working really hard to get and to learn, and we're trying to do our very best, but I think a lot of that human connection
Yes.
has kind of disappeared.
Oh, for sure.
It's not the same, and pandemic really showed how isolated we can be. So
Mm-hmm.
that giving, that supporting each other, that even in that, like, I've received, this much money, I've worked hard for this, let me
Yes.
give a gift card and help someone get groceries. Like the little things, it can be anything. Or I suppose talk about a different way of doing it, maybe
Yeah.
create something
Yeah.
and then share from there. Okay, my last question to you is, can you please give us your top, I think I already know them, but let's try it, your top 3 financial habits that you would say to help us be financially successful?
My top 3. Okay. I would say one of the number one things I would say is read. Read books on successful people. See how they obtain their success. I always saying, if you want to learn from if you want to be a millionaire, you got to learn from a millionaire, right? I can't, and I believe also you got to hang out with the right people. Be in the right environment. Too many people, are, in the wrong. They're hanging out with people the same. They say if you're the highest in your environment, you got to get out of that environment and go find someone else, because it's important to elevate. And if you're in the wrong environment, you're not going to elevate yourself. I would say also have a plan. I think that's one of the key things. Most people don't write things down, financial, even when it comes to your finances. For you to obtain your goals, you got to have it written down. You have to know where you are currently to be able to know where you want to be, where to go. And so I think writing things down, that's very important. So you are able to know, okay, am I on track? And you're able to achieve those goals that you want. So did I give you 3?
That's 2.
So I said, what did I say? I said read,
have a plan,
and let's see, what was the other things that
Colding.
I would say? What did you say?
Colding.
Yes. No, also, that's actually key. Financial professionals. Make sure that anything you do, you advise, get advice. I think a lot of people don't seek advice, and that's unfortunate. You should seek advice from someone that's in the industry. Don't go ask your friend about investments, and I find a lot of people do exactly.
Instagram, yes.
I find a lot of people do that. You have to seek someone that's a professional that can help you. It's not someone that has a thought or a theory. And so I think those, to me, would be one of the 3 things that I would say.
I'll take that.
Yes.
Okay, number 1, read. Number 2, have a plan. And number 3, get a professional's advice.
Yes.
There we go.
Agreed. Yep.
Thank you so much, Dean. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your CRA knowledge with us. I hope you have some tools to help you in planning your financial legacy. I will see you again on Ending Well with Minnelle. Take care.